We thought of the name Malayan because one of the inspirations in the creation of the school was our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, the pride of the Malay race, who once walked this part of the country just a little over a century ago.
Our vision is to be a global staple of excellence in professional education and research.
MCL is the #1 private school in Calabarzon.
Our mission is to provide a learning environment that would transform our students into globally competitive professionals.
To produce social wealth from the generation of new talents.
Excellence, loyalty, teamwork, discipline, and urgency. These are our core values.
To me, MCL is home.
Malayan is not just the buildings, the grounds, nor the facilities. More so, it is the people who comprise the institution. The smile of a student when he realizes that he just learned something. The embrace of friends without whom one cannot live. The values we instill, excellence and virtue.
MCL is home.
MCL is home.
MCL is home.
I am Malayan.
I am Malayan.
I am
Malay.
I am Malayan.
I am Malayan.
Ayan po, good afternoon po sa ating lahat. So, pwede na po siguro tayo mag-start, 2:01. So, hello po, Sir Rex.
Hello po, good afternoon po.
Ayan, so 64 na po ang nandito sa Meet, Sir. So, pwede na po siguro tayong mag-start, Sir Rex. 2:00 na po.
Okay. Sige,
Sige
let's start. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to our dear guests, teachers, and student participants. Thank you for your time. First of all, happy ICT month to all. And before anything else, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate everyone joining us in this 2-hour webinar about data visualization presented by Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT as we know it, in collaboration with Malayan Colleges Laguna, MCL. By the way, I am Rex Aguila from DICT Luzon Cluster 2. Allow me to give you a brief introduction of our dear office, the Department of Information and Communications Technology. The Department of Information and Communications Technology, DICT shall be the primary policy, planning, coordinating, implementing, and administrative entity of the executive branch of the government that will plan, develop, and promote the national ICT Development Agenda, Republic Act 10844. And for everyone not familiar with our office, Luzon Cluster 2, Regions 3 and 4A are under Luzon Cluster 2. And we have 4 projects under DICT LC2. These projects are Tech for Ed, EBPLS, IIDB, and the project that made this webinar possible, Free Wi-Fi for All. Free Wi-Fi for All, by virtue of Republic Act 10929, Free Wi-Fi for All aims to provide free access to internet service in all public places throughout the country so as to promote knowledge building among citizens and enable them to participate and compete in the evolving information and communication age. So tell your friends and family to follow and like our pages for more webinars. We have more in store for you guys, especially this ICT month. I would like to turn you over to Miss Jessica for our house rules.
So ayan, good afternoon po ulit. Ako po si Miss Jessica from the ICT Luzon Cluster 2 rin po. So meron lang po tayong konting house rules like yung number 1 po, the participants and other than the speakers are muted po. So kung may mga questions po tayo, so ayan, yung number 2, may Q&A portion po tayo after po ng discussion ng ating resource person. But you can place na po your question on the chat box. Nakikita naman po natin nasa right side po siya ng ating mga screen. And then yung answer po ay after po ng ating discussion. And next po, ayun, paulit-ulit po kami. Don't forget po to sign up sa ating attendance sheet. Nandyan din po yung link sa ating chat box para po rin makita, doon po natin isi-send sa mga fill up po ng attendance sheet yung ating post-evaluation form. Yung post-evaluation form po ay requirement natin para po tayo ay ma-issuehan ng e-certificate po. And also, meron po tayong replay ng ating webinar sa Free Wi-Fi for All YouTube channel po. At meron din po tayong Facebook Live. So, yun lamang po mga ma'am and sir. So, Sir Rex?
Okay, I will introduce our resource speaker. By the way, like us on Facebook. Ito yung link niya, DICT Free Wi-Fi for All Luzon Cluster 2 and DICT Free Wi-Fi for All. So with that, let us all welcome our resource speaker for our data visualization webinar. He is an assistant professor and chair of the CCIS College Research at Malayan Colleges, Laguna. Please welcome our resource speaker, Dennis Aquino Martiliano. Sir Dennis, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, CICT, for inviting me for this webinar series in celebration of the ICT month. I hope that you could hear me, guys. So well.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Narinig ka po, sir.
Ayun. So I would go directly to my presentation, and this is going to be just an introductory to data visualization. Although there are portions in my discussion where I need to make use of a software. So let me borrow an hour or so of your time for this very short seminar.
Hello, Sir DM.
Yes.
Opo, pwede pong mag-picture taking muna po tayo together with sa lahat po ng participants. Kung pwede po mag-open sila ng camera and picture taking lang po saglit.
Okay.
Ayan. Hello po.
Hello po sa inyo. Magandang hapon.
Mga ma'am, sir, pwede po tayo ayan, open. Open po tayo ng camera. Picture taking lang po. Ayan. Ay, nahiya po ba yung iba? Ayan. Picture lang po.
Okay lang, huwag kayo mahiya.
Ayan. Mga ma'am, sir, picture po tayo. Ayan, si Sir Kevin po, no? Wala daw pong cam. Sige lang po, sir.
Okay lang po.
Ready na po tayo. Apo, smile po tayo, ha? 1, 2, 3, smile! Isa pa po, mga ma'am, sir. Isa na lang po. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile! Okay na po, ready na. Salamat po sa inyo. Pwede na po ulit mag-off na.
Salamat po. Enjoy.
Thank you po. Okay, let me just share now my PowerPoint presentation for the introduction to data visualization. And okay, let me start with the expected content. So we will be dealing with some terminologies and processes involved in data visualization. I also have a very quick discussion about some tools and softwares that I personally use in data visualization, and a little bit of the data transformation, which I believe is a prerequisite in terms of building of a dynamic dashboard using Excel. So in this particular webinar, I would be focusing on the use of Excel, although there would be a portion where I will be using a little of Python as an alternative to use in creating dynamic charts. I would be injecting spark lines, icon sets, and the use of sunburst. I'm pretty sure some of you have tried using spark lines, icon sets, and sunburst. So this is going to be just a quick reiteration of things that you might have been using in your data visualization, a little of basic forecasting and prediction using Excel, the powerful function offset. Offset is a powerful function that we have to use to create a dynamic range and moving data, which is needed in creating interactive dynamic graphs. There is a portion where I'll be showing some animation of graphs, but it would require a little of coding technique. So I might just be showing how it is done in process and then initiating graphs as well in Python. Let me start with the definition of data visualization. It's an emerging trend, but it has a lot of disciplines revolving around it, including information technology, natural science, statistical analysis, graphics, interaction, etc. And from some published researches, they define it as an art because you're turning something into a visual graphics, including its aesthetics. However, just to put everything in black and white, there are three main branches of visualization. And these are scientific visualization, information visualization, and I'm sure you're hearing about visual analytics. So let's try to have a comparison of those three branches of data visualization. So I have here a visualization comparison. So I feel like that I'm more into scientific visualization because of my work. Um, Looking at the example pictures here, these are from the word scientific. So it requires results of experiments, large scale computations. So it's hard to digest large scale computations if it is not represented by certain graphs, images like this. The middle part, the information visualization, I believe, is the at the top of the umbrella. Years before the analytics that we are experiencing right now, we've been using graphs and charts to represent or to visualize data. However, this visualization is somehow a little bland and sometimes static in nature. So there come analytics. And visual analytics has something to do with an information visualization with a little of user interaction. If you would be looking at these visual analytics, it would include a little of movement. There are icons. You include description. It's not just static graphs and charts. You involve the user to interact with the data visualization, and I feel like that these scientific and visual analytics are derivatives of this information visualization. I'm pretty sure that you know how important data visualization is, but according to some statistics that I got here, our we process images 60,000 times faster than text, and that 90% of the information transmitted to the brain is visual. 70% of our sensory receptors are in our eyes, and more than 65% of us are actually visual learners, including myself. I'd like to consider this example of data visualization. I feel like that most of the time we are being fed with data in form of text and tabular form. Well, I don't see any problem with tabular form representation because it's organized, it's structured, it's readable. The only problem that I see with tabular form is that it's hard to interpret and to extract information from it, especially if it is a large scale data set already. Where if we would be comparing the visual analogs that you see at the right side, it's easy to digest. You could see patterns. It conveys the meaning immediately because it's visual. Just to summarize the importance of data visualization, it gives meaning to our data, and this is really critical decision making. If we are in the academe or we are in marketing, perhaps data visualization is a very good tool for us to perform a better decision. It allows our data to be more digestible, and we don't want just to convey the message, but we wish to amplify the message so that we could see it loudly, not just show the information and just present the data, mere data. I have seen a lot of processes over the net and some published researches about the processes. So I compressed it into four main processes. We have data preparation and data filtering, visual labs, and rendering. Rendering might be something new in this process because it is now involving the user in the actual process, while data filtering might be under the data preparation as well. So before I proceed to some of the processes which I would be doing in actual uh, format, these are some of the data visualization tools that I particularly use. And well, some of these are for free, some are not. So let's start, of course, Excel. So we will be concentrating on the use of Excel, although a lot of data visualization tools are available, which are powerful. I I I have to make to say that Excel is so powerful that it can do almost anything in data visualization. So it's not just a mere uh, a sheet or presentation of data in tabular form. It can compute, it can provide charts, it can provide dynamic uh, symbols, etc. So next is MATLAB. Well, I particularly use this in my job, and it's more of a scientific visualization thing. So, well, the design here might not be as impressive as the things that you see in Excel, but it's powerful enough to for large scale computation, and it's not for free. But I guess if you are in the an educational setup, you could communicate to MATLAB to have a specific resource for a school setup. And this one is my favorite also. The SAP or SAP Analytics cloud. Well, we're more on the cloud right now, and SAP Analytics Cloud is powerful. It allows us to connect to large-scale databases, unlike Excel, of course. But Excel, of course, has capability of connecting. There's Google Sheets, but this one has a lot of powerful tools, and this one we use in just to show you guys that we created an output for the ASEAN, is ASEAN data science, and our team from the Philippines, we were able to come up with an example of data visualization for tuberculosis, a perspective as an ASEAN perspective. And if you would be noticing, the graphs are just so simple. These are just line graphs. These are just bar graphs. I want to emphasize that it's not about complex graphs and charts. It doesn't have to be that complicated. In fact, data visualization should be simple since naive users would be looking at it. It should be direct to the point. If it is line graph, it's line graph, or you could combine it but make it simple. And in this example, more than charts are descriptive analytics. So that makes it different from a mere information visualization because you are adding some icons, like look at that. So there are some portion where I highlighted information, numerical information with some icons and some description that would solidify the the graphs that I have set here in leaflets. This one we use in the COVID-19 tracker for Laguna, and I think that is still working right now. That instead of using a graph, maps can also be used. It's from leaflets, and leaflets is for free. If you feel like that you are into more maps and you wish to work on this one, maybe I could just leave my contact details, and if you want to see some um, if you want to see some instructions on how to make use of this, I could actually personally give it to you. And this one is attractive and so simple, and it's for free. Python is an optional thing for me. It's for free. It's a freeware that you can just simply download, and it can allow us to create output, extravagant output that's fast and use. For example, this one is a graph showing a function. Well, we need a little of coding skills here, but the some codes are actually like patterns that you could follow and simple to follow. Okay, let's now proceed to the data preparation and filtering. This is just going to be very quick, and some I have prepared examples, some are not. So for the first basic technique, we have the concatenations, find and replace. I believe that this would be at least the least that you could do if you don't have any techniques yet in data preparation and filtering. It's very important that you prepare your data first before creating charts and graphs because the accuracy might be affected. So let's say, for example, you have missing values or duplicate values. Simple find and replace can be used and concatenation. Now, removing empty cells or records. This is for some, they don't want to remove empty records or empty cells. But it also might affect the accuracy of the graphs that you are creating. So in my case, I usually just remove some empty records and uh, because it's a different thing if you would just be filling up empty cells. It's another issue, and it might affect again the accuracy of your results. Now, it's not a requirement to put some upper and lower limits, but this one is for linear graphs. It could be for better visualization. You could add up a field or a column where you could compute for upper and lower limits, especially if there are in your graphs. But this one is it depends because it's somehow it's so statistical in nature. Binning or grouping usually done using lookup or VLOOKUP. It's also one way of preparing your data. And I personally love this because grouping makes your graph simple. I have an example and later, so I will just show you later. Adding columns like moving average, it's very useful, and some experts in visual analytics would definitely use something like moving average to smoothen some good data. And later on, I would also be showing something like that. Okay. Um, like for example, in eliminating empty records, we could follow some basic steps in removing empty records. Let me just show. Hopefully, you could be able to see. All right. Okay. So I hope that you're seeing my screen. I'm trying to. There you go. So it's a basic record here where I could just simply highlight for a range and then F5, and then there's a special button here where you could perform a lot of great stuff, and there's blank, and this allows you to highlight those empty records. Well, right now I only have 10 records. If you have a lot of records, it's going to be very useful, and you can just go directly to home and delete those records, and that would make my record set or data set a lot cleaner. We go back to for binning and grouping. Perhaps if we could just make use of this manually, like in my example, it's that you need to do it all the time. But it depends on the field or the activity. In this, I do have a basic data here with age as a field and count. And just to show in the at the right side, see the actual bar graph of it. It's good. It's nice to see the graph, but it's hard to sometimes digest a graph with full information. And the visualization is not just something of looking at it perfectly as count. So you need to just to look it and to count it perfectly. The kind of ways that we need to visualize so that you could digest it easily. So what I teach here is that change my data set into range. There is no specific rule in creating some range, but the least that we do, especially for educators, would be to look for a published work on how to change the range of the fields, especially for example participants or students, and you want to group your students because it might be, you know, your graph might be complex if you would be putting too much information. So to make it like simple, you could group it. And this looks better at the right side when I made some binning and grouping here, and really be able to convey the pattern and the message of the dataset that I have, unlike the other one. Now this one is something that is not a requirement, but in some cases that you add a field for the upper and lower limits. And perhaps some of you are into statistics and math, but I tried using here a manual computation only, but there is a more powerful way of using this in statistical analysis tool. in Excel, but I am using it especially for the line graphs, and I want to see if the data that I would be putting in or I'm getting would fall under specific area. And because you look at this, you see some spike, like a sudden spike of data. And now it's hard to interpret what's this, what's that, is that an error? So maybe you could just set an upper and lower limit with a computation. So there's a formula here that I use. It's like getting the standard deviation over the square root of the actual count. So this is a basic manual computation of the upper lower limit. Add um, the mean with the computed control value and subtract the computed control value to the mean. So you get the upper and lower limit. Now I could make I could view now my limit in the graph and be able to see that most likely 95% of the data would fall under these limits. Now this one is of mine because it's very um, emerging right now. It's emerging right now and it's being used, especially for the COVID-19 cases that we are experiencing. And you could add fields to remove good data. Sometimes our data is so random. There are spikes, and it's hard to interpret a graph having good lines. Like for example, this one, the new cases. These are actual new cases that I got from January 30 to May 2 in the Philippines. And it's just hard to interpret. Wait a minute, are we flattening the curve? It's hard to interpret because I see that the graph is just going up and down. Now, the best way is to add another field, perhaps, like this one at the right side. It's the moving average. It's a 5-day moving average that I created here. And it makes my graph extra smoother. And it is somehow easy to validate and to check. We are not flattening unlike the other one. It's not affecting your data. Your data is still accurate. As I have mentioned, you don't need to perfectly count everything. You just have to make sure that you could amplify the message and visualize. It's so different and it's now easy for me to look at this one as we are not flattening the curve unlike the other one. So you could just combine and let's try it also here. Okay. No. There you go. So I got data, but it's just from uh, January 30 to May. And I started here getting the average. So I look at the average from B3 to B7. So this from Hopkins 2020. So that's 2 days before and 2 days after. Get the average and so I could just simply drag it down so that the moving average field was added. It's not just for COVID-19 cases. Definitely could be in some other circumstances, for example. Graph, select using your mouse and insert, and the charts available. I particularly look at the recommended charts, and there you go. The recommended charts are great start up. So I would look at this, let's see, and there you go. And some design are given formats to change it a little bit for purposes. And now it's better. It's a lot clearer and easy for me to interpret. So let's try to work on some simple graphs and charts that we could add in our worksheets. And I would start with spark lines. Spark lines are cute charts. I like it. I love putting spark lines in some of my reports. It's showing a trend. like for example, scores of students. I could make use of a score trend instead of just looking at the behavior of the scores, raw scores. A trend would give me a little view of what's going on with the scores of these students, not just for the student's record, but for other records. Spark lines are easy to use. There you go. So let me go. If one I just go over here, insert. There is a line here, and the range and would be added. What I love about it, you could change a spark line into column and put some high points. There you go. So it's more of a trend, correct trend.
Sir Dennis,
The other,
excuse me po.
sure po. Yes po.
Medyo malabo daw po kasi yung audio po ninyo.
Oh, sorry.
Opo. Ayan.
Okay.
Medyo
Can you
nagcha-choppy
hear
daw
me
po.
now? Hello, guys.
Ayan, hello.
Hello. Move my video. Hello.
Ayan, medyo okay na po. Hello.
Okay naman ang dating ni Ma'am Rita sa akin. I'm not sure. Ma'am Rita, can you hear me clearly? I'm not sure if my end or nila.
Medyo
Sorry.
robotic po, sir. Sa iba po kasi hindi po clear masyado.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay, so I'm trying to check. I'm okay naman connection ko.
Ayan, medyo okay na po, sir.
Okay na po.
Okay na po
Okay.
kaya sa iba. Hello?
Ayun lang, hindi ko kontrolado no? But well, much better.
Ayan, much better na daw po, sir. Medyo okay na daw po, sir. Ayan, pwede
Sorry,
na po
guys.
mag-proceed.
Sorry guys. I will try
Sige
my
po.
best to. Yeah. Well, if ever lang that medyo may nami-miss out, especially with probably I could just communicate with our DICT personnel here because I could connect with you if you have something to ask personally and you want to clarify something. Let me just go back. I don't know where to go back. So maybe in Sparklines. Yeah. Ayan. Okay. Okay, I hope okay na yung audio. So, I don't know kung saan medyo may na-miss, but I was in the moving average. Okay.
And much better na daw po, sir. So,
Better.
pwede na din po mag-proceed up.
Ayan. So, yeah, a while ago, I have mentioned about the use of filtering of the moving average, sorry. So, kung medyo nag-choppy dito, I love this one because it allows me to smoothen my 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 graph because when you look at the two cases, it's hard to interpret because it's going up and down and the data is really skewed. But this one is it's better because it's not affecting the data when you do the moving average. So let me just show that again because that's really helpful. Especially let's say you want to show an output for your forecasting, for your performance. There you go. I think I have shown a while ago this one. So The moving average here is just so simple. I set the average 2 days before and 2 days after. So the average is press F2. You would see that it's from this value P3 to P7. So what you do is just simply drag and just simply drag it over so that all values will be filled up for the moving average. So it's like you're adding a new field for your data set. Okay, so I think I was also showing the spark lines. Let me check if my audio is still okay. Yeah, leave a note na lang if the audio is not okay. But I was in the spark line. Spark line. If you can follow the actual process, because it's very technical, maybe you could go back to the video. I think it's recorded, or you can contact me. I am willing to just show you some portions that you wish to clarify. Okay, a while ago I was doing the spark lines there, insert spark lines, so line, and then the range. There you go. So it's just to show the trend. It's tiny, it's simple, yet it's powerful to show the score trend rather than just seeing the raw scores here. The next one is the use of icon set. I particularly like the use of icon set. It's it uses symbols for example, you want to put some budget for the scores or for the values or for the ranges instead of just showing numerical values. I would rather use icon sets, and it's easy to add icon sets. We go back here, look at this. So I do have budget instead of just showing the average of the student. I will put an icon that could be interpreted as something that's good, very good. You could just easily put something like this, going to the home, and there's conditional formatting. And there's you could set new rule here. So for example, the rule here is based on the value, and I could just select icon set. There you go. So I wish that this value be changed into something like this. So you could select icon style here. Okay. And the values is I want it to be like those who get greater than or equal 85, make it number, will get star, and then those who getting 80 will be less than, would have this. And okay, so I can see the average and I can see also the icon. I could go back to the conditional formatting, manage and edit so that I could show the icon only, or I could show icon with the number. Icon only, like mix. Say there are changes in values, so it would automatically show changes also in the fudge or the icon set. So that's for Sparkline and the fudge. And hopefully you're able to see that. for sparkling, it's insert and then just select here and the range. And for the icon set, you just have to go to home and then conditional formatting, rule, and cell base, and icon set. Okay. Okay, I'm not into the use of sunburst, but I think it is useful for maybe like grouping. And if you have some hierarchical information that you wish to show, you may want to use this. Like, let me go directly to that sunburst. Okay po yung audio ko. Okay pa po ba? Hopefully, let me see this.
Hello, sir. Medyo nawawala na naman po ulit yung sa audio. Hindi daw po marinig ng iba. Ayan. Hello?
Yeah, yes sir. So
Medyo
my,
nagcha-choppy ulit, sir.
okay, copy na ulit.
Hmm.
Okay, okay naman.
Hello? Okay na po ba?
Okay.
Bumalik na naman daw po yung like
Ayun din.
kanina.
Oh no. It might be because it's raining here, but I will be
Hmm.
sharing, of course. Yeah, the ICT would be definitely be sharing the excellent PowerPoint. And
Yes
ayan,
po. We
sorry.
will provide a copy po of the PowerPoint and Excel file po.
Ayun.
Ayan, pasensya na po.
If not, then also, if not, then also, yeah, I am seeing your chat. If hindi naman din, pwede rin kasi that I could give my email address to Ma'am Riza, to all of you, so that if you have specific things that you wish to know, I can provide. Basta email lang ako. Ayan.
Sige po.
Hopefully my
Sige po.
audio is okay now.
Medyo okay
Ma'am
na din
Riza,
po.
ano na lang po. Kung hindi okay, i-ano nyo na lang po ako ha. Para
Ayan,
maayos
medyo
yung
okay na
position.
po siya.
It could be because of the rain right now here. Sorry.
Sige po, okay lang po. Sige po.
Okay. So let me just go back to that sunburst, and sunburst is like this. So the data here is hierarchical in nature, and if you wish to use this, for example, for groupings, like there are categories, there are types, and you don't want to just simply show things, I would suggest to use sunburst. The sunburst is a chart, a simple chart, so you could just highlight it and you go to insert and recommended chart, and sunburst is here for you to select. Okay, I don't know if you have seen the prediction of UP about the COVID cases. I think they have two predictions. One is June 24th, where they predicted that there would be like 24,000 cases, and then came this prediction of 40,000 cases by June 30. And I like to check out if there is a chance for us to do prediction and forecasting in Excel via a function called forecast.ets. It uses exponential smoothing forecasting to do prediction. It provides the model for us, and we just need to get the data. And it's better than just simply using moving average for observations, and it could be used in forecasting, for example, performance of the students, um, marketing purposes. So let's try to do this, and let's see if the forecast of UP, we could handle it using the forecast.ets. I hope that my audio is still okay. There. Thank you. So, hindi ko kasi nakita yung sa chat. Oh, I hope that my audio is still okay. Pasensya na. Naku po, umuulan. So, let me go back to that prediction forecasting. So, I got here actual data of COVID-19 in the Philippines starting from January 30 to June 23rd. And that the last value is 31,825. Sorry. Yeah. And I use forecast. Let me make it bigger. I might be changing positions for better. For a while, guys. I hope that everybody could hear me right now. Better. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay daw po, sir.
Some new cases by June 30, and I have here forecast that ETS. I have a forecast for this specific field that's B118. So this is for record number 118. And the range, let me do this first here, equals forecast ETS for this, and comma, the values.
Hello po, Sir Dennis.
Yes, what?
Opo, break po muna tayo ng kahit po 5 minutes lang. Check lang po natin yung ating audio, sir. Kasi medyo na-choppy pa rin po siya sa amin, sir. Sa akin po. Opo.
Pwede naman po.
Okay lang ba, sir? Gusto mo po ako na lang kaya yung mag-present ng PowerPoint, sir? Tapos, pa-next nyo na lang po sa akin para, sir, medyo makaano tayo. Okay lang, sir.
How about yung actual ano kasi, yung sa Excel. Okay naman, but for the Excel part, I don't know how are we going to deal with that. I'll be doing some...
Sige po, sir. Sige po.
Audible naman daw po.
Sige po.
Sabi nila.
Okay, sige po, sir.
Na? Alright.
Sige, sir. Go ahead po ulit.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Oh no. Okay, so prediction. I would press F4 for it to be an absolute position, F4. So I'm getting values. These are the actual COVID cases in the Philippines. And then, sorry, there you go. And then comma is the record number. So I particularly use just the record number here. And I will just simply drag over. So we don't have yet data for June 25, June 26 until June 3rd yet. And the prediction is like 37,000, 14,000 that we see here in the prediction. I hope that my sound is okay. Hopefully, to those who are listening, I'm looking at the chat now. Okay na daw po. It's better. Okay. And that means that it's like a reliable forecasting technique that we could use, prediction technique that we could use for um, for cases like this. So UP might be correct that it would reach until 40,000 by June 30. Although this is just a prediction, of course. Likewise, you could just, I created, let's try to create prediction here. No, okay, I set it up here and graph it. Let me just so create a line graph that would show the predicted value and the actual value like this. So it's a better way of understanding the behavior of the data right now instead of just simply showing the actual number. I have seen, so there you go, data forecast. That's the shortcut for that one. Data forecast. There you go. So data forecast. So it's showing now the behavior that your data might go here or up there. So you can copy this output and use it in your visualization. Let's try to move on and let me just check again if the sound is okay. Let me know if the sound is okay or not. Because I will go directly to something that is really technical, the use of offset function in Excel. And is a powerful function that we could use to make a dynamic range and dynamic moving data, especially if you wish your chart and your views to be interactive somehow. Offset is can be performed by doing this process offset, and then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parameters. First is the reference cell. Next is the rows that you wish to move, then columns that you wish to move, and height and the weight. Let me show directly an example here. For example, I created an offset for performance per subject, and I don't want to create a static position. So offset B10 to this B10 that 88 comma 5 comma 0 means that I wish to move my offset point from B10 to the to row count of 5 in such a way that I am pointing now to 87 from this reference. Likewise, you can move by row or column. So this will, for example, offset starting reference B10 comma 5 comma 2 means I have to count from the reference. So we are from B10 and start counting 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the rows and columns. So you're looking at 84 here. So that's how offset function is. And how are we going to make this to have a dynamic chart or dynamic graphs? The values for the rows and the columns can be variable in nature. So it could be a literal value that you type. So let me just show an example so that you know how it works for Example, I want to create an offset to dynamically produce average performance by subject given years and inclusive. Because look at this, my data starts at 2009 until, sorry, 2018, and I don't want to show everything immediately. So what I want to do is that I'll be putting the years inclusivity myself. So rather than just getting the average from 2009 to 2019. Ma'am Risa, hopefully my audio is still okay.
Hello, sir. Okay naman po.
Good news. Let me go directly to that. So this one I use offset F2. So I made a data set here with performance per subject, and we have from 2009 to 2020. Uh, I want to get the average to this way. When I type in 5, I'll be getting the average from 2009 to up to 5 years inclusivity. So 9, 1, 1 year means I have to get the average from 2009 to 2010 only. So it gives me dynamic um, input for the user. And it would be better, let's say, for example, I would go to developer. By the way, guys, developer, you could add developer by going to the option. So I will do that. File option and customize ribbon. Make sure that everything is checked there. Developer. So I would go to developer and I would like to insert a spin button. I want that I would be navigating the content here by a control like this. So I let's say right click on this and format control, and I want to start current value to 1, minimum value to 1, and maximum value to 10 years incremental by 1. And then cell link, look at this cell link, let's say I will be putting it here, okay, so that I have like a navigation of values changing for years. So let's say this is inclusive years. I will change my average here from B4 to offset of the value. I don't want to use A5 anymore, but I would use I5 and make it this way so that the user can interact with. I want to see inclusive average for the last 5 years, 6 years, 4 years, and it would change dynamically. A while ago, I have shown you how to put trends, and let's try to put trends here. Insert a line and the performance here. There you go. However, if you wish your trend to change dynamically as well, you need to use offset for this one. So let me just go directly. I will just be looking at the Excel and I will not be going to the PowerPoint show anymore kasi ito lang din naman yung content man. But the PowerPoint would help you if you are missing something in this presentation. So let's say I want this trend to be changing based on the changes in I column, which is the inclusive here. So I would put the formula, then name manager, and this is where you put the offset functions I have shown you. So offset function has parameters, and you need to uh, put the values for parameters in order for it to work. So let me create an offset for the trend. Let's say for English. English trend. Offset. Okay. Offset. And then my reference cell here is my reference cell. I don't want to move. I just want to stay at this cell, but height I want to move later based on the value of I5. So for this part line offset here, I don't want to move. I will put 0 for the row. I don't want to move column, so I will put 0 for the column. Comma, I want that the height of my trend would be changing based on the value of I. So I would add this one, and the value of the width is 1, which pertains to English column. Let me click OK, and there you go. English trend was added in the name manager. Again, it's from formula name manager. And you right click now on the trend here and insert or change the sparkline data. Instead of the range, we need to put that particular offset. So F3 is the shortcut for you to get those set values. And there's English trend offset. Okay, and there you go. We see that it would change based on the values that we put in I, which is changing dynamically when we press something here. Just to recall, this one is from developer and insert, and you could see some controls you guys could add. To play around with the data, you could right click and format control. Like this one is just the minimum value is 1, maximum is 10, and incremental value is 1. And the cell link is located here. I hope that you were able to see that changing. I hope that my audio is okay also. If if it is really hard for you to follow my instructions and my processes, I would give detailed discussion siguro after this presentation to get give it to maybe get my email address, and then I would give you some of my tutorials for this month. I think that if I would be doing changing it to like columns, um, put columns here. Right? Okay. And I also want it to be changing based on the values here. Let me just repeat that one. I would add formulas, name manager. Let's create a new offset for this one. Math offset. And I'm going to make it again of that formula offset. Offset. Initial value for math is here. Next, I want to move again from that particular cell, so my row is 0. I don't want to move to the column, so column is 0. But I want to change the height of the trend, so I would select this. And comma, the width is that particular column 1. Okay. And the math offset is there already. And you right click on this and you right click, edit single sparkline data. The range now you can see it's highlighted. It's here, and I don't want to use that range anymore. So you press F3 and you set now the map offset created. And hopefully it would work. There you go. Changing dynamically. And I would go to design and change, put some high point and low point. Now that is a better way of visualizing the data. years by using up. If I would go back to PowerPoint, guys, I'd have here some portions where you could clearly see how you could set spark lines, dynamic spark lines. First is I want to have a graph here first. So we would play around the graph, the chart later. So highlight this one. Let's go to interest. I would go to recommended chart. And I don't see that the line is good enough for this chart because the values are almost the same. So it's hard to interpret. Hello? Okay, so I will select this one, and that's it. So this chart would allow me to show the grade performance per subject every year. And let me go to the design because I like this design better. Now, the problem here is that if I'll be adding values like for maybe 2021, it's not going to be dynamic. The chart was already made. This one this one is the thing that I'm saying a while ago. The information visualization is kind of blunt. If you want it to be dynamic and make it like visual analytics with visual analogs like this. To do that, well, for charts to be dynamically connecting to the table itself, you could press Control T, and that's because you wish to say highlight this Control T and highlight this one and click OK. And so you would see create the table here. And let me try to check out if that would be possible now. 20, 21. There you go. You see now the changes. Now the graph is dynamically doing it for me. Delete that. There you go. So if I wish to add another subject, chart is now connected to the chart, the table that I have created. Now, maybe a better way of presenting this one is if we could control also the chart that we see here, because that's what we promised a while ago. The visual aesthetics and the visual analytics, the analog should be uh, controlled by the user. Well, it's just the same with the spark line that we have created for the friend. Uh, we make use of offset. Offset function is really powerful enough to control everything that we wish to see for the chart. If you notice, I'm only using one table, and I was able to show a different visual analog that I could interpret better. It means that you don't need to have a lot of tables just to make a dashboard for the presentation, because you could extract a lot of information from a single table. Let's try to do that, guys. And let me check again if you could hear me. You could still hear me. Okay, I think you could still hear me. So I would go back to formulas. And I would go back to name managers. And I would start creating offset for the chart that I have created. So I will be able to create year already. So this is a pre-created offset for the year. For the year offset, it's A4. Let me just, there you go. Name manager. It's A4. That's the starting or reference cell. And then we have, I want that maybe like from to, like maybe I want to see chart changing given the year from to. So let's say from year 1 to year 4, something like this. Let's set here from to. So I want this to be my input so that every time I change the values here, I would also change, I will see change in my chart dynamically. Let me go back and start creating an offset. Let's start creating offset for the English word. I would name it English. English offset. Offset. And this is the starting value. I will start here. Next is, are you going to move your row? I wish that the row will be moving based on the values. I want it to be moving from B. I think I need to minus one because the change a while ago is that if it is one, the movement is, let's say if I want to get the value for 2009, there is no zero value. So I need to minus one so that it would be a correct movement. So comma, I don't want to move to column, comma, what's the length or what's the height of the movement? So this is the value that I wish to use, comma, and the width, and that's in offset. Let me start creating a new offset, and this one is the math offset. From Rita, okay po yung audio? Okay, offset again for math. I want to start at this value. I want to start and move from this cell. So this one is changing. So I would don't want to enter value for this particular cell. Minus one, comma. I don't want the row column, comma, and the height of my chart. By the way, I am looking at the column for math right now. So okay. Oh, sorry, I already have math offset. Let me just work on the math offset again. Math offset equals to offset starting value, comma, from minus one, comma. I don't want to move to column because I'm looking at just the math column. So next is the height is 2, then comma, the width is 1 for the math column. Next is science offset. Offset, and the next, so I'm in science now. Again, this is the from. So I want to move here. Minus one. Then I want to move. I don't want to move to column. That's 0. Then this is the height, comma, the width. Okay, I'm almost done, guys, with the offset. I hope that you can still hear me. And if you are not able to follow the actual technical stuff that I'm doing, I'll be just giving you some tutorials of mine for this one. So new, oh, let me go back to that. I'm missing average. I would need it average offset. And then offset again, starting value, comma, from, minus one, comma, column. We don't have column. I don't want to go to the next column, comma, the height, comma, the width. and I think I'm done. So I have to right click on the chart and change the data that we have here. So this is the data for my X and Y axis. So I will change this. So this is the date change. Look at that. The range is here. And right now I don't want that range to be the value of the axis label. Instead, I press F3 and click here. Next, range that the range is this, but I don't want it to make it just that range. Instead, F3 and use the English offset that we have created. Okay, and look at the chart is changing now dynamically. Math change. This is the range. I don't want to use this F3 again, and let's use the math offset. Science, edit, remove that range, F3 again, and science offset. All right. We just go back to the science offset. Let me start working on the science offset again. Science offset, starting from -1, no column, height, and the width. I think I went back again and changed that again. F3 for the year. F3 again. Okay. English, the English, math. Science offset. And finally, average offset. F3, average offset. All right. Let's try to change. There you go. That we change now from 2. Like I want to move from year 3 to year 5 and change the graph dynamically. So if you have a lot of records, like say performance records or any particular record that would require you to show specific years inclusivity, I think this is the best option for you to use offset, and it's dynamic for you rather than creating a lot of charts in your dashboard. Writing down the values here. Probably we could go to developer again and then insert. And then I think there's a combo box here. Combo box. Can I check on the audio? Frozen screen. I'm not sure if it is for me. Hopefully, Ma'am Riza, my audio, my screen is okay.
Okay naman po yung audio, sir.
And the screen as well. Okay. So what I did again a while ago is I went to developer and then insert, and I inserted a form control here. So this is like a combo box that I wish to use for from to. Then right click and play around with the data form format control, and the range here. Okay, I would use this. Right click again, format control range. The cell link is here, so that there you go, that I could dynamically make use of that year instead of number, and it would change. Let me insert again a combo box here too. Right click, format control, then range. I'll make it at the same range, and then cell link is this one. All right. Okay. There you go. So I think I have like misaligned the numbers here. There you go. There you go. So dynamic charts with dynamic input for the users. There's visual analogs plus interactivity for the user. I am just making use of a single table here, but I was able to show at least um, several charts and visual analogs which would convey trend patterns and a better meaning for the users. Now, if I may just show this one, so I added some parts here like I can control, and then there are icons here, and then I did the same way of changing the offset for the failed path. I tried looking for the failed path value here so that the inclusivity will also be changing the pie graph dynamically. I used offset the same offset style a while ago, but if you want to see it, so here I counted failed and passed based on the offset value. Um, I use count if, and I'll try to count if the value is less than 75. So from P10, and I don't want to just select everything because I want it to be dynamically changing based on the inclusive years that I have here. So for example, if I click here, inclusive year for 4, it means that it's just from 2009 to 2012 that I will be showing. It means that from this one to this one. So I have to change my count if C10, which is the start. This is C10 if you are looking at this, and to an offset. So I offset from C10 and look at that. I move from the value of H1, which is this, comma 2, which is the two columns, meaning encompassing math and science. So it checks the range from this to specific value that I placed here in H, so that it would get the number of values less than 75. And I divided it to the same style of checking the count from C10 offset so that I will get how many failed and how many students with passing value according to the offset value here in the inclusive here. So it follows the same concept of offset, and it would dynamically change my my pie chart. Okay. Again, as I have mentioned a while ago, if you fail to see actual or there are some issues in my screen or audio, I might just be giving because I do have some videos of this one showing how to do um, the offset function for Excel, and you can just go back to my video and use this. Hopefully, you could use this in your work, especially for teachers. So I have this video here. I also added one chart here that is interesting. It's interesting because it combines values in a single bar chart. As I've mentioned, you don't need to make extravagant graphs and charts with complex values. Make sure that it's just readable, simple. This, the the fewer the values inside, the better. You just have to make sure that it conveys a meaning. Now, right now here, I created a function animate, which would literally change. I'm not clicking anything. It's showing me performance by inclusive years automatically. And this is animated using a specific code using macro. I think it is again a separate thing for me to discuss. It's very complex to discuss the coding for this one, but let me just show you how to add macro. Macro can be found um, here in developer. So I added a button here, which is from developer insert, and there is a control here. So let me just add this there. So that's how you add a button, and then automatically it would look for a function that you wish to create. So I created a while ago animate and click edit, and this is the code for this one. So I don't know if it is good for you to see because it's too technical and this is a programming stuff. But just to give you an idea, this one would let me change the value of H and I. If you notice, the behavior of the graph here is based on the values that we change in the combo box. So what I did here is I created a basic code that would let me change the value of H10 and HI by creating a loop, which changing the value of I, incrementing it by 1 every 1 second. So when you look at the animate, you see that the value here is changing without me clicking because there's a specific code to do that. There. I specifically love using that technique to make sure that my animation would convey a better meaning. And let's, for example, see this this one I used to show the visualization of the moving average of ASEAN countries, Philippines, Singapore, COVID-19 cases. It looks extravagant, but it's made up of Excel chart using offset function. I literally recorded myself clicking a button for this one to just see changes in moving average in the graph. There you go. So it doesn't look, that extravagant, but it conveys a lot of meaning. And the way I animate it here allows me to at least give me an experience of visual analog and aesthetics rather than just showing, basic graph that is bland and static in nature. It's not hard to do that because ang ginawa ko lang is, well, let's just look at that example. It's just the same thing that I have created. It's offset. It's offset. And then I just literally change the value, and I recorded it manually myself, and then just put some uh, audio file so that it would look like that. There you go. It doesn't have to be really automatic all the time. So I just added an animation here, but of course it's not a requirement to show animation all the time. So better than siguro yung parang there is a control like this one would let you navigate with it. There's a quick discussion here of the use of Python for data visualization. I am nearing the end of this presentation. It is really technical, but this is a process where you could install the plotting for Python visualization. And these are some of the visualization that I have created in Python. It looks so technical, but when you look at the code, look at these codes, it's just a standard code that you could follow. There's a pattern, put the value of x, put the value of y, and then hold the plot x and y and just show it. Let me look at my example here. I have a bar code here, which let me just look at that. It's a basic code that would literally just set values for x and y. And you could follow this template and pattern if you were like really not into coding yet. Just to show you, this is an alternative. So Python is a free and open source software that you could just download over the net. And yeah, the thing is that unlike Excel, you have to learn a little of coding about Python to generate good graph and chart like this. But it's a good alternative for Excel. I would still go for Excel because I could combine everything, like all of my data and the charts together. So the usual guide that I got from some of my colleagues doing data visualization is number one, to tell a story. So let you know what's the purpose of visualizing. I have shown a little technical siguro thing, more on a technical thing about the data visualization. I have emphasized a while ago that it's not about an extravagant graph and chart. The lesser, the better. If it's just a line graph, show a line graph. Then maybe include layer of icons, descriptive analytics, images, and then let the user navigate through your dashboard. Yeah, add layer that is relevant, creative details. Thank you for listening. I have to end here, and as I have mentioned, guys, if you have some questions regarding the technical stuff that I have created, especially for the dynamic charts and for the steps on how to do that. The PowerPoint presentation contains the process on how to do that, but I have separate videos that I could feed through the ICT so that you could look at it. And if you wish to have specific details you need to use in your work or in your institution, I am willing to share some knowledge to you by contacting me. Thank you so much. Of course, you could get the copy of your Excel files. I've seen this here. I think the ICT would be distributing that. And let me give my email address here.
Ayan, thank you, Sir Dennis. Ma'am Jessica? Ma'am Jess?
Yes, hello po. Open na po ang ating question and answer, mga ma'am sir. Pwede na po tayong magtanong kay Sir DM.
If you are in the chat room, I have typed in my email addresses. If you wish to like get some specific details about the dynamic charts or anything that is connected to data visualization that you could use in your work and in your workplace, in schools, I am willing to share information and share my resources to you guys. But this PowerPoint presentation, CICT personnel that we have here, thank you guys, will be distributing again, I guess, the PowerPoint files and the Excel files also I will be sharing with them. So for specific details, just contact me in this email and I will be willing to answer some of your queries and help you with my tutorial. Yeah. Thank you, Sir Nico. Thank you, Sir Edna.
And hello po,
Yeah,
open na po for questions.
I know this is very quick and this webinar is just, short 2 hours and some of my discussion are really, I know if it is too technical to you guys, um, the Excel files would be really helpful. And just look at my email address I posted here in the chat box. You can email me directly and I will be willing to answer. Especially who are teachers here. I'm sure some of you are educators or teachers. And hopefully you could use some of you learn, especially the use of moving average, what else? The use of the forecasting. I really like that specifically. And uh, I'm not sure if UP is using the same technique in Excel, but well, we could match what UP can do in predicting a while ago. Thank you so much, guys.
Ayan po. So, kung wala naman na po sigurong mga questions para kay Sir DM at kung meron naman nga po mga ma'am sir, binigay naman po yung email po ni Sir DM. So, ang mga tanong lang po na napansin namin ay yung post-evaluation link po at saka yung slide link. So, papakita ko po dito mamaya. Pero at the same time po, isasend din po namin sa mga email nyo yung mga kailangan nyo pong link. So,
Ayun, sorry.
Yes, sir.
I saw a question from Sir Ryan Zar Abugao. For adding macros, sir, is it possible to use other programming language other than Python? Actually, I did not use Python in macro. Just to answer that very quickly, let me go back to the PowerPoint as the Excel. You could just go directly to developer, click macro, and their coding is here. So the coding is VBA. It's not Python, but I'm not sure if you wish to connect Python directly to Excel, that is possible, but I suggest that instead of using Python directly, there is a facility in Excel where you could directly call macro and start coding here. If Sir Ryan is interested in macro and you want to create something for your school or your work, let me know. Just email me. For question from Sir David Russell is, can we also do data visualization using Google Sheets? The limitation, of course, of the Google Sheet, I think the offset can be used also, but some tools might be missing. Like we need to check the graphs might be there, and let's see if the developer option is also there. Yes, definitely the answer is yes. We could do data visualization that using Google Sheet, and that would match also what SAP data analytics can provide to us because it's in the cloud already, so that we could share it to everyone. But I guess there are of course limitations because some ribbons are not available. But basic things like showing the graphs and putting some offsets would definitely be possible in Google Sheets. Thank you, Sir David. Yeah, Sir Joseph, Stephen, yeah, I think so. For the math department, it's really going to be very helpful in terms of showing results that for the experiment, I guess. Sometimes we're using so much of like software uh, to academically intimidating software. Excel is really a good start. I don't mind using Excel in my experiments, and I don't mind using Excel in some of my large scale computations. Yeah, it's helpful. Hmm. Yeah, of course, definitely. SPSS is something that we well, as the question might be SPSS maybe for uh, data visualization. The issue that I see in SPSS is that the organization of the results, while in Excel you could definitely just collect them in a single worksheet. But I would say my suggestion is um, combining Excel and SPSS because well SPSS is more of a statistical in parang mas malalim na statistics yung mga pwedeng magawa. But in terms of aesthetic side, because we're dealing with visual analog and visual analytics, and better is maybe like connecting SPSS directly to but, uh, what I'm doing sometimes is yeah the question about SAP I'd like to connect with that. Sometimes it's hard to get results of deep statistical computation in Excel. So you go directly to SPSS, and I would screenshot and get output from SPSS and put that in my SAP report because SAP Analytics Cloud allows us to insert images that are prepared from other software. SAP and R. Well, I prefer using SAP of course, and guys, you may wish to try downloading the SAP Cloud Analytics. SAP Cloud Analytics. It's for well, it's not for you can download free, but it's for trial purposes. You could use it for 30 days, and there is um, an event. I guess every year we are um, doing this event for the ASEAN Data Science, and we schools are able to have a partnership with SAP Analytics, SAP Cloud Analytics, and be able to make use of SAP Analytics in their teaching. And that is also something that we're doing in Malayan colleges. Um, we have a partnership with them, but it's not yet an institutionalized, but it's a soft partnership for the competition of ASEAN Data Science. And some of you who are interested in ASEAN Data Science, I guess it's still up right now, and maybe could have a soft connection with SAP Cloud Analytics. The use of R programming is also okay. The issue again is with respect to dynamic charts and the user interaction. And R would require a little of coding technique for you to create a data visualization. My suggestion is to combine tools together and then get results set from other tools and software, and then use a separate software that would allow you to collect outputs and results set from different software and tools. As I have mentioned a while ago, that Excel, some most of the things that we could do in SPSS right now and in R, we could still do in Excel. So if you wish to start out, just make it as Excel first. But it's interesting, I think, yeah, it could be another webinar for the ICT, like the technical use of SAP and R for the teachers, especially under math department. Yeah, I encourage also everyone to check out the SAP Cloud Analytics and try it out. And yeah, any more questions?
Ayan. So, mga ma'am, sir, is there any other questions pa po kay Sir DM?
Yeah, for other questions, maybe some of them might be thinking of some big questions, so they could just directly email for me because I gave my email address as well. Don't worry, I'll be answering for.
Hello, Sir DM. May question po si Sir Dan Michael Dobeleza.
Okay po.
Yan.
Sorry.
Mo-compare.
You have LinkedIn account? Okay. I have, but it's not updated. So let's see. Check on that. But it's, yeah, I think I do have LinkedIn account. I'm using, I think I need to give the email address. I think I'm using this email address, NTL. Yeah, a good way to communicate in LinkedIn so that I could give information, some information. Thanks, Sir Mark. Thank you, Sir Glenn. Thanks, Ma'am Melody. Thank you, Sir Roy, Sir Joseph, Sir Ryan, Sir Edmond, Ma'am Mariel, Sir Dan, Sir Dexter, Sir Nathan. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you po. Thank you, Sir Larry, Ma'am Fe, Ma'am Janet, Ma'am Joy. Thank you. Keep safe, everyone. Thank you.
Ayan, sir.
I am. Thank you. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Sige po, Sir DM. Pwede po bang pasuyo yung screen? Mag-present lang po ako.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. Thank you po. Yan, kita na po yung screen ko, mga ma'am, sir. Hello po.
Yes po.
Yan.
Kita po.
Okay, thank you po. Bali mga ma'am sir, ito po ang ating data visualization PowerPoint slide ni Sir DM. So andyan po yung ating link para makakuha po kayo ng inyong copy. And also, nandito rin po ang ating data visualization post-evaluation form po. So i-click nyo lang din po. Magsasend kami nun sa chat box and also mag-email din po kami ng mga link na yan. So kailangan po nating ma-accomplish yung ating post-evaluation form until 7 p.m. only po. So, after po ma-accomplish yung post-evaluation form, makaka-receive po tayo ng e-certificate 7 days after the webinar po. So, yun lamang po. Maraming salamat po. Hello po, Ma'am Sai.
Hello, Ma'am Jessica. Can you hear me well?
Hello po. Dito na po si Ma'am Sai para po sa closing remarks natin.
So, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. I'm Sadine Claire Hermesa, the focal of Free Wi-Fi program under the ICT Luzon Cluster 2. So first, in behalf of the department, I would like to thank everyone who participated in this webinar, especially Malayan Colleges Laguna and Mr. Dennis Martellano, who served as our speaker for the day. Earlier today, I saw a post from a friend from the industry saying that you can avail ability by availability. Meaning, we can have the abilities if we are willing and present. Hindi ibig sabihin na you have to just show up, but of course, our heart and minds are available to learn. This webinar topic is a little advanced, so I would really like to thank everyone who are willing to participate. I hope that we can use this learning in wherever industry we are in. The ICT will continue to serve as implementing body of the government's programs and projects, and will continually develop innovative ICT-enabled services and contents. With this, I would like to invite everyone also to join our ICT Month Conference on June 26 at 2 p.m. with the topics adjusting to online teaching and learning, and how to put up cybersecurity measures in the new normal. The live stream will be available on our Facebook page, Department of Information and Communications Technology Luzon Cluster 2. So again, thank you everyone, and kindly fill out our post-evaluation forms that we will be providing to you so we can send the certificate of attendance. Thank you and good afternoon.